Hello guys, this is Oroth and a warm welcome back to my channel. In today's video I want to list 10 things that I want to be introduced in Diablo Immortal. And now I'm not talking about bugs that needs to be fixed, I'm talking about new features or alterations to existing features that I would like to see. So without further ado, let us dive straight into it. And the first thing that I would like to address is class change and legendary items. As you can see here in my stash, I have lots of different items from different classes, and I believe that a lot of you also has the same problem. And the issue is that I like to optimize builds for certain types of content. So I have maybe one setup for dungeons, I have one setup for open world farming, I have one setup for PvP, etc, etc. But when I class change, I can only bring with me one set of legendary items, the items that I currently have equipped. This means that all of the other items that are Crusader items will be left here in my stash, and I will not be able to use them when I class change. This is of course a huge issue because this becomes a hurdle and it will discourage people from class changing and trying out new stuff. Because if you spent a lot of time to farm everything you need for a specific class and you can't bring them with you if you class change, it's going to be a problem, of course. So how can we fix this? I have a solution, and maybe there are better solutions than this, but my suggestion is that if we go to the blacksmith here and click services, there should be an option here where we can change the class of a specific item. So when we salvage, we can just choose the items we want to salvage, and we should also have an option here to choose the items that we want to change into a class of our choice. So this would remove this issue where you can't use your stash properly, and yeah, it will just make everything easier, and it will become more fun when you can class change freely without any issues. The next thing I would like to see in Diablo Immortal is DPS meters. And I know that already we can see the damage dealt at the end of the gauntlet, like a top list. Also, when we have these world boss events, there is a live top list where you can see who dealt the most damage to the boss. And this is something they should introduce to more types of content. So whenever you attack a boss in dungeons, whenever you are attacking raid bosses, it should work the same way as it does at the world boss encounters. So apparently they have already figured out a way to do this. So let's just introduce it to more types of content so that we can really see the effect of our output when we tweak different things in our builds. The next thing I want to talk about is dormant gems. And a while back they introduced the possibility to make gems dormant, and what this means is if we have an active 5-star gem, we can remove the gem fragments inside of it. So here, for example, I have a rank 3 Blessing of the Worthy, and I can make the gem dormant and receive 125 gem fragments. This was a very welcome addition. I actually made several posts on Reddit about it, that they should introduce dormant gems, and that's what happened afterwards. But the problem is that we can only do it with 5-star gems. So if we go here, for example, and look in my gem tab, we can see that I have tons of 2-star gems as well at rank 10, and also 1-star gems at rank 10. And this means that I have a lot of gem fragments that are bound within these gems, and yeah, it's a huge hurdle for me. Maybe I want to use 2-star gems in some types of content, and then I want to use 5-star gems in other types of content. And now there's a huge hurdle for me to invest further in my 5-star gems, because it would require me to destroy the 2-star gems that I've been working to upgrade to rank 10. This problem would be solved if we could also make the 2-star gems dormant. It will give us more versatility in terms of building different builds, and I think that versatility is one of the most important thing to keep the game interesting. So please, as soon as possible, introduce dormant 2-star gems as well. The next thing I want to talk about is class change again. And now I want to talk about the cooldown. When they introduced class change, we could do it once per week, and a while back they changed it, so now we can class change once every 24 hours. But I wonder, why do we even need a cooldown in the first place? Please just remove the cooldown, make it possible to class change whenever you want. And as an extra here, we should of course be able to change our appearance as much as we want, because what's the point of having a cooldown? It's nice to get a haircut whenever we want. Yeah, just remove these silly cooldowns, please. The next thing I want to talk about is Immortal reigns. I know that on some servers maybe it's a huge competition and there are short reigns, but after the introduction of blessed reigns, it seems that power has consolidated into strong alliances because people want to try to achieve these blessed reigns. And quite often this means that we have a few strong clans on the server and the rest of the clans are quite weak. And this also enables the Immortals to quite easily defend in Rite of Exile, and the reigns will become longer. So a reign can become up to 7 weeks long, and I believe that this is way too long. It's a lot more fun if we have shorter cycles. I believe that the cycle should not be able to be longer than 4 weeks. So I hope that they introduce some changes to this as well. The next thing I want to talk about is also regarding Immortal reigns, and this is the blessed reigns themselves. A while back they introduced this reward track where you can get very cool cosmetics if you are an Immortal for some time. And if we look here at the top 2 capes here, you also need blessed reigns. So it's very difficult to achieve a blessed reign. It requires you to consolidate a lot of power into one team, and I don't think this is healthy for the game. I believe that we definitely should go back to a system where without any blessed reigns. I kind of like these reward tracks. They can add more of them, but please remove blessed reigns because there is nothing positive about it that I can think of. Also, the health of the servers, they just get progressively worse because of this implementation of blessed reigns. And this is very bad for most of the player base because they will not be part of the clans where the power is consolidated. This also means that there will be less and less people that can try out the Immortal, and yeah, I mean, this is not a good thing, so please remove the blessed reigns. The next thing I want to talk about is repetitiveness. And of course, this is a game that is about grinding, and I don't mind to farm a lot, but it becomes repetitive when you have to constantly re-farm everything for each difficulty level. So for example, if you want to find something that's optimal for your specific build, look here, for example, I'm looking for damage done by my summons on my set items. Whenever there's a new difficulty, I will have to redo everything again. And I understand this keeps people out there farming, but at the same time, when you've done it 20 times, it starts to wear off the excitement. So I think that they should somehow change the system so that you don't have to reform everything, because they also introduce a lot of new type of content where you have to optimize. So instead of like having to reform the same things over and over again, it's fine to give us new things to try to optimize. But yeah, this is my personal opinion, and I hope they manage to come up with a solution to this. The next thing I want to talk about is transmogrify. A lot of people asked for this option a while back, and then they brought it to the game, but it's very limited. So transmogrify means that you can change the appearance of your skin. So for example, here we can choose between 3 helmets, we can choose between 3 shoulders, 3 shields, etc, etc. But I have to say that this is a very, very limited option. There are so many cool combinations, so we should be able to use transmogrification on every single item. And of course, it should also include the different resonance tiers. So for example, if we go here, this is the vanilla without any skin. Here is the 1K version, here is the 3K version, and here is the 5K version. So of course this should also be included in the transmog. So yeah, I really hope that they look into this and that they give us this very soon. The next thing I want to talk about is a new clan system. We do have warbands where we can do some alterations. For example, we can change the remnants that we are using. So here we have some options to give us some extra perks. But I want to introduce something similar for clans and maybe something a little bit more advanced. It would be very cool if we have some type of clan hall or something similar where we can also work on upgrades that gives us perks. These upgrades could cost gold, for example, and this will encourage people to farm more in open world, and it will also help us to spend that gold that is not really useful for anything today. So these perks could be tons of different things. Maybe you can upgrade something that gives us a little bit of extra experience gain. Maybe you can upgrade something that gives us a little bit of extra magic find. There are many different perks that could be unlocked, and to upgrade into the top and maximum level should take a long time. So this is something that you can work at together in your clan, and this also brings a social aspect that's also very fun, I believe. So I hope that they do a rework of the clan system and make it more viable. And maybe you can also unlock some clan skins and something similar to make you feel even more as a unit. So yeah, I hope that this is something they will bring to the game in the future. The last thing I want to talk about is negative RNG. I understand that this is a game that involves a lot of RNG, and that's fine. But what I really don't like is when you have something that's great and then you want to try to improve it and it becomes worse. So for example, take familiars. If we look at this familiar, for example, I have a lot of insight, which is good. I have a skill here that I really want, and I also have a trait here that I really want. As the system works now, I can try to re-roll this familiar and try to get it to improve. But the problem is that there is no feasible way for me to make sure that I keep this trait and that I keep this skill here, lingering wounds. So if I would invest anything and try to make this better, I will most likely fail with it. So this is bad design, because we should not be able to make a lot of investments into something and then just end up worse off than we were at the beginning. So I hope that going forward, that whenever they introduce something new, the RNG is fine, but don't make negative RNG so that you invest something and you lose. And on these existing systems, like the familiar system, I hope they do a rework so that you are somehow able to craft the familiar that you want. It's a little bit like with the charms. I mean, the charms are not super fun, but at least you know that this is what my charm looks like, and if I try to improve it, there is no risk that I will fail. And it's the same with the reforges. I can roll and invest in more rolls, and if I make it work, that's fine. That's a plus, but at least I will not end up worse than I began with. So yeah, this is the final thing on this list of improvements I would like to see in the game. So if you have any other suggestions on what should be added, please let us know in the comments. And also, if you agree or disagree about anything said here, please feel free to share your views. And until next time, I of course want to wish you a very nice day or a very nice evening wherever you are. And to all of my clan members in Nyx, I would of course also like to say Voruk Nyx, Sholak Sol. So bye bye.